Hello all, we are going to get started in 1 minute. If you have questions throughout, please use the chat box and we will get to answering as we can. And welcome all. I hope everybody is having a good morning so far. Well, morning here. I suppose it's early afternoon there. All right, we have hit 10 o'clock, so we're going to get started. I'd like to welcome you all to the webinar, Clients Outgrowing QuickBooks Pro and Premier. I love ending with a question mark on our title, but I think that we really want to look at is Enterprise can help those clients. Give me 2 seconds here, get this moving. There we go. All right, I'm Randy Sorensen. I am a CPA and I have a boutique CPA practice with 6 employees. My staff is made up of a mixture of bookkeepers and accounting professionals. I've been a QuickBooks Certified Pro Advisor since 1999, which is quite a while. I've been advanced certified in both desktop and online, and currently am so, as well as being certified in QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions, so very familiar with the product. I've been a member of the Intuit Trainers and Writers Network since 2008, and I've been tasked with writing and presenting webinars such as this. And you also, if you are certified in QuickBooks or advanced certified, you probably are familiar with my voice as I've done a couple of the certification courses also. So the other thing is that in my office, we use QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions, and not only for our clients, but for our practice as well. So today we are offering CPE credits. In order to receive the credit, you have to attend the entire webinar. We're going to have 3 polling questions, and you're going to need to answer all 3. And that's you're going to get the 1 hour of CPE for 50 minutes of time. So when I'm ready to put up a poll question, I will let you know. You're going to want to make sure you answer the question in the poll box, not in the chat box. And that way you're going to make sure that you are going to be eligible for the CPE credit. But again, you have to answer all 3. And if you're using a phone or a tablet, the polling functionality may be limited. So if you do need the CPE credit, then you might want to switch over to your notebook or desktop computer. And just to let you know is that the certifications will be sent to the email address you use to register for the training. So make sure that if it's not your normal email, you're checking it to look for the certification. Within 2 weeks, you'll get a certificate emailed to you. All right, so our agenda for today. My goal during the session is to help you understand why you might consider including QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions in the suite of products that you offer. I believe that having Enterprise as part of the product mix that I support has made a really big difference for us in our firm. I love being able to service the larger, mid-size to larger client, and they always need a little extra that Enterprise can give them. And as a result, for me, the projects are bigger, and of course, we know the bigger the project, the more profitable it usually is. So, a good place to go if you're looking to grow your practice. We are going to look at how QBES or Enterprise is the same as Pro and Premier products, and then we're going to turn around and look at what's different and unique about Enterprise Solutions. And I'm going to show you some enhancements and benefits that QBES offers. We're also going to look at several case studies so that you can see how the software can help your clients. And that helps enhance your role as a trusted advisor to them. All right, so we have our first polling question. Let me get up the polling box. And so our question is, how many QuickBooks Enterprise clients do you currently have? So obviously 0, but I'm hoping that this will change after the webinar. 1 to 3, 4 to 10, 11 plus. Remember that you do need to answer this if you want your CPE credit. So you want to go ahead and, let's see, I've got to launch it. There we go. So that should now be up on your screen. And you can go ahead and answer. So we've got a lot of you here that aren't using Enterprise, 44% at this time. And 40% that is 1 to 3 clients. So only a very small number of you, or you have 11 plus clients. All right, let's see if I can figure out how to, I was going to try and put that up on the screen for you to see, but I can't figure out which button to push. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me just give you the results at this point. We have 45% does not have any clients using Enterprise. 38% is 1 to 3. 10% is 4 to 10, and 7% is 11 plus. So we have 91% voted, so I'm going to close it at this time. There we go. All right, so we're going to move on. So there's a lot of you here that I have to convince that you guys need to go to Enterprise, I guess. Okay, so I skipped the screen. There we go. Our learning objectives are just what I can show you, and that you can recognize how QuickBooks Enterprise can solve your clients' needs when Pro and Premier can't, or they've outgrown it. We're going to build on your existing Pro and Premier knowledge so that you can learn Enterprise solutions and how to move around in it. We're going to identify how QuickBooks Enterprise fits into your QuickBooks Desktop portfolio. All right, so here's our topic 1. Why should you consider QuickBooks Enterprise? Well, when your clients reach some of the natural limitations with Pro and Premier, it is really your next logical step. The look and the feel is exactly the same as the lower level product. The screens look the same as Pro and Premier, which makes it a really easy transition. But Enterprise is able to address client challenges with performance, larger file size, inventory management, and the list goes on, which you're going to see today. The mid-market business is really different than the smaller businesses which use QuickBooks Pro and Premier. And one of the first requirements that I see that they need is the need for more robust accounting. And this includes the need to manage larger lists, have additional functionality such as multiple locations, and expanded reporting options. In addition, Enterprise can handle up to 30 users, and we know Pro and Premier only go to 3 and 5. So this additional, the ability to have additional users offers the segregation of duty that I feel is so important with internal controls. And an example, and this is sort of a strange example actually, would be to have an employee who's able to enter invoices, but for some reason we only want them to view credit memos. And that's something we can actually do in Enterprise, set up in Enterprise. So with the increase in the users, the system has got to have more power to manage the data from a performance perspective, and of course Enterprise does. And based on the volume and complexity of the transactions, the system needs to have more capacity to handle larger data files, larger lists, etc. From my perspective as a consultant, these types of businesses are going to need more support to manage the conversion to the Enterprise and the implementation. And they've still got to be running their businesses, so they're really going to need us in there to help give them that support. And they're going, again, that means larger budgets for the client and more money for us. So I do find that it's important for myself to use the software. As I said, we use it in our office, and it's so I can become really familiar with it. The Premium Pro Advisor membership has the QuickBooks Enterprise software and certification included in the membership. So, if you're a Premium Pro Advisor, you've got access to it. If you are a Deluxe or free level Pro Advisor, you would need to upgrade, so that you have that access. To find out if that's right for you, you can talk to your Intuit sales rep, or I would be thrilled to talk to you at the end of this about the benefits and what it's done for me. So, think about it. If you think it's right or you have questions, we can answer those for you. Something else to consider about moving to Enterprise is that as a Pro and Premier user, you really do have a good amount of knowledge and experience to get started. So it's not like you have to learn, something from the beginning. You're going to get in there and you're going to feel really comfortable to start. And of course, as a Premium Pro Advisor, you do have additional training from Intuit, and it comes with the membership. All right, topic 2, we're moving along. So what's the same as Pro and Premier? And as I said, the transition is really easy because it's no more difficult than upgrading an older version of QuickBooks to a newer one. You download the software, and once it's installed, you open up your data file, it does a backup, and then it converts it. So really easy, really smooth, no different than what we're used to doing when we do our upgrades all the time. And as you can see here, this is, has the look and feel of Pro and Premier, but like Premier has additional features compared to Pro, like sales orders, a similar comparison can be made to Enterprise. As you can see, the home screen looks, as I said, really similar. I mean, there's not really a lot of difference on the home screen. And all the basic functionality, like creating an invoice, paying a bill, making a journal entry, they're all the same across all the products. And what we see that's a little different is, here you have an invoice. And again, the invoice looks basically the same, but we've got a few fields that we don't have in Pro and Premier. So here you can see that the advanced, well, you can't see, but I'm telling you, the advanced inventory feature has been turned on. So you have the ability to track inventory by site and lot number. And so those are some added features that obviously you don't have in Pro and Premier, but you can see that you can add those directly to an invoice. The industry-specific flavors, as they call them, in Premier are the same for Enterprise. So really the main difference in that is Enterprise has additional reporting and feature set that's available within the specific industry editions above and beyond what Premier has. So we are already on to our second polling question. I'm going to get that going here. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to launch it. So we want to answer what's the most important issue for your Pro and Premier clients. Is it the number of users and granular permissions? I know that's always an issue, is the permissions for my clients. The list and file size, is that file getting humongous and taking forever to run reports? Inventory enhancements, do they need more features that they can't get? Enhanced payroll pricing and reporting, more control of your data, calculations, etc. So let's see where we are here. So far we have 38% reporting. So that seems to be very important. 23% is number of users. 15% list and file size. And the last, then inventory enhancements, and the last is the enhanced payroll pricing. I mean, it's interesting. I did not think that the enhanced payroll pricing was important until I worked on this webinar, and you're going to see that it's like, oh my gosh, it makes a huge difference in Enterprise. So in the level, so we're going to talk about that because I didn't realize that it was actually going to make a difference, but it does. So yeah, we're still the same, as reporting is really the most important. All right, I've got 90% voted. Again, remember, if you want those CPE credits, you have got to go ahead and vote in the polling box. And a reminder, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box. I have Samantha here to help us. So she's going to field some questions, and she'll interrupt me when she thinks she has some that she wants to answer, in a timely manner. And Samantha, feel free at any time. All right, so we've got 92% voted, so I'm going to close this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. All right, so we ended with 39% reporting, 21% number of users, 17% list and file size, 14% inventory enhancements, and 9% enhanced payroll. Let's get the screen again. All right. Topic 3, what's unique about Enterprise? So we're going to move on, and we're going to look at some case studies that are it's really going to highlight how Enterprise can help to solve some client problems with QuickBooks. And you can see from the different case studies that we're going to cover all different aspects of Enterprise. So let's start with Fred's Flooring. Fred has a service-based business. He provides residential and commercial floor installation services. He has 5 current users who work regularly in the Premier file. It is the owner, a bookkeeper, his AR person, his AP person, and an estimator. His immediate need is that he needs to hire an additional estimator. So Fred is also considering giving access to the file to his office manager. He wants her to be able to enter time for the staff that's out in the field, as well as put in purchase orders to restock office and job supplies. And so we're looking at really 7 users is what he needs. Based on their growth, they expect that they're going to need to add an accounting person also shortly, another one. So that's going to bring them up to 8. So that Premier is just not going to be enough for them. And in this case, Enterprise is the next logical step. So Fred's also concerned about internal control and segregation of duty, as he wants to reduce the likelihood of fraud within the organization. So let's see how Enterprise can be a solution for them. For the setup of users in Pro and Premier, you're probably very familiar with this screen. You know you have 8 functional areas, and it can be turned on or off based on the access needed for a specific user. But it's not granular. I mean, they can either have all of the sales and accounts receivable or not. Same with the checking and credit cards. And again, in our case study, they have the 5-user limit is an issue because they need that additional personnel. So let's look at how Enterprise provides much greater control for the business. So Enterprise uses the concept of roles and users. Each user can have one or multiple roles, and each role can be used for one or multiple users. And so the first thing that you want to do is set up your roles. And as you can see, when I talk about granular, is I can go into any of these areas, choose the area, so let's say accounts receivable account, and offer to give no access, full access, or partial. And I love the partial because I can give view access, and underneath view, I can either create, modify, or delete. So I'm very particular about having my clients delete things, especially their staff. So I'm, usually going in there and saying, okay, they can view it, create it, and modify, but they can't delete it. It saves me from having to look at that delete report all the time, although it's a very handy report. But so I'm able to go through each section and give that level. Takes a little bit of time to set it up, but once it's done for that level of employee, that role, I don't have to do it again. So, as we're hiring new employees in the same department doing the same job, like that estimator, I can have an estimator role and then just set up the new employee to have that same role very quickly. And there are roles that are available in preset. They have AR, AP, the list goes on, full access, payroll, different things that are already in there, so we don't actually have to recreate the wheel, if we don't want to, because there's standard roles in there. And as I said, once the role's been created, it's then assigned to one or several users. And as you see on the left here, here's some of the roles that are already preset. And this again is where we would see the new roles that we set also. This is something new that is in, or some of the features here are new that are in Enterprise. It's been very frustrating when you have to have everybody switch to single user. We have to make sure everybody's out. And one of the things is Enterprise 2017. First of all, we don't have to get out as often or get into single user as often as we used to. But as a company's growing, when we do have to get into single user, it's not always as easy as yelling down the hall saying, "Okay, everybody, get out. I need, I need to go in single user." People are at different locations. We have larger offices. So this has given us a new tool where we can switch to single user mode and sort of give everyone a warning saying, "Okay, you guys, I'm going to kick you out in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever I set, and I'm going to be in there for about 10 minutes." And I can send out a notification to everybody, and they'll know that, okay, I better finish what I'm doing because I'm going to be kicked out. And then, once it kicks them out, then you can go in and do what you need to. And again, you're not yelling through the office and trying to get everybody out. So it's a really nice, nice tool that they've enhanced recently. So let's wrap up the case study. As you remember, this client had some very specific needs. He needed to add another estimator. He is interested in giving access to the office manager. He's probably going to add another accounting staff soon. And he really had a desire for greater segregation of duty so that he can improve his internal controls. And he really wanted to limit what data each user can see. So with Enterprise and that granular aspect of the roles, controlling what people can do while allowing them to view only access to certain areas is really easily accomplished. And that's just not possible, as we know, with Pro and Premier. This also supports the owner's desire to control what can be seen for employees, including view only. That's sort of repetitive. So QuickBooks Enterprise will be an easy solution since they'll be able to leverage all they know about their current Premier software. Really makes it easy for them. So I think that, in this case, Enterprise is the way to go. So now let's look at Pedro's Pipes. They are a supplier of plumbing supplies, and based on all the various size and materials that are in their list, this size is very large and it continues to grow. there's a concern about how tracking all of these small parts can cause the file to grow rather quickly. And Pedro really likes QuickBooks, but the performance and data integrity are becoming a concern. So our list limit. One of the many reasons businesses who are using Pro and Premier upgrade to Enterprise is to remove that list limit of 14,500. The list enhancements in Enterprise go well beyond that one issue. The features improve efficiency, provide greater control to those who use Enterprise. Two additional examples are in Enterprise, the custom fields can be more powerful than the simple text box. As you can see on the upper right screen, we're able to set up new fields for customers, vendors, employees. We can tell QuickBooks what kind of data we're looking for. So if it's a date, that will be the only thing that you can put in that field. If it's a phone number or it's numbers or text, you can set that up, and you can require it on different types of transactions or lists. So if I want the last review date, I can say, I want that on a specific list or transaction, etc. So a really nice additional stuff that we have, that we don't have in Pro and Premier, but we have in Enterprise. The other thing is you can have up to 15 custom fields for items, 30 custom fields for names, and a maximum of 12 for each name type. So in Pro and Premier, I believe it's 7 for each of those. So this gives you a lot more ability for custom fields, which those larger companies really start to need. Also, larger businesses are more likely to use the class feature, and in the data entry function when you're using the class feature can be streamlined within Enterprise. We're able to assign a class in the preferences to accounts, names, or items, which can then be used automatically when entering a transaction. And you'll see that in the middle of this preference box that's on the screen. So another feature is that Enterprise is designed for the larger file. And this is supported by the fact that you can have up to 30 users in the same data file simultaneously. It really had to be designed that way to make the 30 users work at the same time. So most clients will experience a performance boost when they're upgrading from Pro and Premier to the Enterprise product. So let's look at some other things that Pedro Pipes needs. Based on all the different sizes and materials, etc., the inventory list is constantly growing. And for reporting and tracking purposes, they want to use the inventory type items to track each part as they add it to their list. The list is currently at about 6,000, but they're adding 50 or so each month based on customer requests. And their customer list is about 4,000, and they add about 5 new customers a day. So growing strong. That's a pretty awesome company. At this rate, though, they're going to quickly exceed the 14,500 list limit in Pro and Premier. But without the list limit, Enterprise is going to continue to serve their needs into the future if they don't have that limitation. The other concern for Pedro is the file size. He's currently at 586 megabytes. And again, with adding all those parts and customers, it's just going to go way beyond the ability of Pro and Premier. So it won't, if they go up to Enterprise, they're not going to have a problem until they approach 1 gigabyte, as long as their computer can handle that. So again, Enterprise looks like the way to go. All right, case study 3, Wally's widgets. Samantha, do we have any questions at this point?
I've answered all of the ones that we've had so far.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, then we will move on to Wally's widgets. Okay, so Wally's widgets purchase similar parts from different manufacturers. So their parts are sort of interchangeable at times. So they'll have one part that, A and part B that can all go into the assembly one. And, they're ordering them at different prices and, different vendors because they're going to, want to be as cost effective as possible. So as I said, as a result, there's several items which can be used in assemblies, but they've got to track each one separately because of the vendor and the cost. They've got to be able to keep control on that. The process of updating their bill of materials for the specific items has been a nightmare. They have to go out and go into the list, go into that assembly, recreate it, then go in and build, etc. So it's been taking forever, and there's a lot of room for error when you're doing things like that. And then manufacturers not only are having different parts, they're discontinuing parts, so they're constantly having to move to something else anyway because they don't have a choice. And again, that requires them to update the bill of materials. for multiple assembly items. So inventory, as we see, seems to be a major area of concern to many mid-market companies, not only Wally's Widgets. And in addition to being one of their larger assets, inventory usually comes with a certain level of complexity. There is a lot of inventory features which are only in enterprise. And I'm sure a lot of you out there know. I mean, that's the first thing we go when we're consulting with a client and we look at their inventory. It's like, oh my gosh, it's such a mess. So I'm constantly, having to help clean up inventory, and enterprise has made it so much easier. Some of the features that are available in enterprise only, not in Pro and Premier, is the variable bill of materials. And this means that I have the ability to change the quantity or items in the assembly on that build screen. I don't have to go out to the item list and do it there. I can do it right while I'm doing my build. And there's also a checkbox that will allow me to automatically build my required sub-assemblies. So again, how many times have you gone in to try and clean up your inventory and you go to build something, it's like, oh no, we don't have enough of the sub-builds. Well, in enterprise, we can do it all at the same time. It makes it much easier. Also, the enhanced inventory receiving feature is a little bit different and has some more features in that I can split the item receipt and the bill into two. And what that means is normally, we'll go in, we'll receive the item, we'll put a date on it, and if we don't get the invoice for 2 weeks later, and we want to pay the invoice based on the due date, then we're changing the date we receive the item, and it gets very messy because now, it was in inventory on the 1st, but we didn't put the bill until the 15th. That changes when the item was received, as I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with in Pro and Premier. In enterprise, we can split them out. So the item receipt stays the item receipt, and the date we attach to it stays that way. And then we have a bill that's separate, and we put in the date of the bill so that we can use our discounts accordingly, and we don't have to worry about the due date. And helps with our cash flow and our budget. So that's a really nice feature. Another inventory enhancement in enterprise is that I can auto-create purchase orders based on my maximum and minimums that are set. So if I, run out of something and there's only 2 left, I can click a button. It's going to auto-create the purchase orders that are necessary for me. And another thing is we can replace an item in assemblies. As I said, as we're doing the build, not only can we, do the sub-assemblies, etc., we can actually say, no, I'm going to use this part instead of that one, and do our build right on that same screen. And it's helpful again if things are discontinued or you have multiple parts from different vendors. I can also set it to disallow selling negative inventory, and that's nice because so many times we get, in Pro and Premier we end up with negative inventory, and this gives us more control so that our sales staff can't sell something that's negative. And if there is something that's really in stock, it's going to push them to talk to the warehouse people, say, hey, you guys need to get this up to date because I need to be able to sell it. So it really enables them to work better together and communicate more in the different departments, because a mid-sized company or large company, you've got to be able to communicate regarding the inventory because it's such an important thing. We can also add another add-on is we can have on-screen cost column to see our sales in our sales transactions. So when we're making a sale, we can have a column to show the cost, so we can determine, if we have flexibility in pricing, what's the best price to sell it at. And we can also attach inventory images, which is nice. Here's this part, this is what it looks like. And that's really good when you have new employees or different parts all the time. So that image is helpful. So to relate all of this back to Wally's Widgets, they purchase similar parts from different manufacturers, as I said. As a result, there's several items which can be used in assemblies but are tracked separately due to the preferred vendor and cost. In Premier, this has been a challenge because the bill of materials needs to be edited from that item list. And this way he doesn't have to go to the item list, he can do it in the bills. And this issue is further compounded by the fact that the manufacturers are constantly discontinuing parts and replacing them with newer versions with, of course, newer part numbers, which, to make it more difficult. Finding all of the assembly items where a specific discontinued part has been used is really time-consuming and often was causing errors, and they won't have that problem with enterprise. Also, both of the issues are addressed because when an assembly has a part substitution, as I said, it can be made right on the screen, and we can find those new parts. So once again, I think that Enterprise wins the day, and that would be a great addition for Wally's Widget. Great upgrade. Moving on to case study 4, Terry's TVs. First thing that Terry needs is the ability to keep track of his inventory at multiple locations. He sells large ticket items such as big screen TVs, and he wants to be able to track the serial numbers on these items. He sells a large variety of products that change frequently, and he's currently using Premier. So the reason that some clients will upgrade, or many clients I think will upgrade to Enterprise, is for the advanced inventory. The advanced inventory includes multiple locations and bins, the ability to track lot numbers or serial numbers, FIFO costing, which you can use that method instead of moving average, and the light barcode functionality. I will tell you, I have numerous clients that use the multiple locations and bins. You know, you have small products. I have somebody that's in the, they sell shampoos and cream rinses and things like that. And, you know, they're smaller bottles and they can have 3 things on, you know, one shelf, and it's a big warehouse. So using the bin tracking has been really helpful for them. And then they also have different warehouses. So they're doing both, and it's been awesome. I have food companies that need serial number tracking. And so, you know, we use that a lot. Lot number tracking, you know, is helpful. So there's, you know, definitely some benefits to that advanced inventory that I'm using all the time with my clients. So again, let's look at Terry. He's been very successful selling his TVs and other electronics, which is great. He's using Premier. Currently, when he puts on the serial number, he's putting that on the description box of the invoice as the product is sold. So he puts a line item, TV, and then puts in the description what the serial number is. It's really hard to track. I mean, you can't really do a good search looking for the serial number that way. It's just not efficient, and of course, you know, prone to errors. People are typing it in their long numbers, really easy to make a mistake. Also, Terry is opening that second location, and so that's going to be an issue, keeping track of where the inventory is. It's really important to have visibility of the inventory that he has, so he knows where a product is and if it can be transferred to the other store, or if a customer can go and pick it up there. And the other side is the ability to manage the amount of working capital and inventory. You know, I said inventory is one of your largest assets, and you need to be able to keep control of it. But as we probably all know, that inventory is also very often too large. You know, we're overbuying. And knowing and having a good handle on what's at each different store gives us the ability to transfer inventory when necessary, but not, you know, have 10 of each at each store. We know that if we don't have it in this store, I can transfer it very easily from another. So, or, you know, I can have it held for a customer or whatever. So that's something that's really important in this type of business. Another thing is the ability to, you know, I already said transfer the inventory, but also have a paper trail for where everything is. And with all of his needs, I think Enterprise is the logical next step for Terry because the workflow is exactly what he wants that he doesn't have in Premier or Pro at all. And as I said, he can track the multiple locations, so he can have as many locations as he wants. It's going to be a really easy transition for him because he already knows how to use the software. Let's see. So based on the fact that Terry sells more expensive and serial numbered items, I think that you know, Enterprise is the way to go, and it's going to give him additional, you know, internal control, knowing where everything is. So again, I think a win for Enterprise. All right, Larry's Landscape is our 5th case study. Now this is like what I talked about when we did our first polling question. He's using enhanced payroll. He really likes it, has no issues with it, but his business is continuing to grow, and it's becoming rather expensive because as he gets more employees, it's costing him more. So he's looking to see what he can do about the cost before he gets into his busy season, which is in the summer for him. So you know, he wants to see what he can do. Enhanced payroll is built into Pro, Premier, and Enterprise. So, you know, we've all seen it. We're all familiar with it. I use it for quite a few of my clients. To use the features does require an active payroll subscription, and we've got to be using a non-sunsetted version of the software. Many of mid-market clients have accounting staff and personnel, so you know, Enhanced works for them. They're able to, you know, do what necessary to make sure that the returns are filed and the taxes are paid and W-2s are put out. You know, they don't need somebody to be doing it. They don't need assisted or full service payroll for that. But as I said, for Larry's Landscape, you know, they do have a bookkeeper who's responsible for processing the payroll, and that's working great for them. They're using the Premier, and they have about 35 employees. And as I said, they're concerned about their costs. So looking at the screen on the right, you can see that if they are to buy a Premier license every year to upgrade to the current license, for 5 users, it would be $1,900. Their enhanced payroll is currently $390 a year, and they have 35 employees, which costs them $840. Now, the more employees they get, that number is going to go higher. So every time they add an employee, that number grows. But you know, at this rate, it's costing them $3,180. Enterprise, you know, at the gold level is $3,100, and enhanced payroll and unlimited employees are included. And so that's $3,100, and that's going to stay the same every year. It's not going to change. So just by going up to the enterprise, they're going to be able to save money, and then they get all those extra features that enterprise has, which is great because as a bonus, it's going to handle their larger file size, and you know, so they can't go wrong by upgrading to enterprise. Save money, get more. I like that. So I think that again, enterprise is the way to go for them. Okay, Sophia Sales. Sophia is a manufacturer's rep company. So she has both inside and outside sales. And again, she's a rep company. She's not the manufacturer. She is currently using QuickBooks Pro for invoicing purposes. It works fine for her, not a problem. Her problem is commission. When it comes time to pay commission, she spends a full day calculating the amount that she owes, you know, that she has to pay everybody for each salesperson. And the sales by rep report is a good start, and she gets that in Pro, but it does require a lot of manual manipulation when she moves it to Excel. So she's looking to grow and add more employees, but she is concerned that it's going to take her, you know, 3 days to do the commissions, and she just doesn't have that time. So she's looking for a solution. Advanced reporting, which is available in Enterprise. It's really powerful. It is something they added in the last few years to Enterprise, and you can see this screen. You've got a dashboard that you can create. It has charts, graphs, you know, whatever you need, and it can be used to create a wide variety of detailed reports with calculations similar to, you know, what you can do in Excel. However, you've got the benefit of a direct link to the QuickBooks data. So again, with with Sophia's Sales, she is a manufacturer's rep company. She has both the inside and outside salespeople. Calculating the commission has been a huge problem for her. And you know, she actually wants to be able to give her salespeople some latitude in pricing, but she doesn't want them to get too aggressive with pricing, and so she wants to give them the benefit of, you know, the higher profit, then the more commission you get. Lower profit, less commission. So they're, you know, going to want to price comparatively so that they can get the sale, but also, you know, make some good commission in there. And you know, it's important for her staff and for her to be able to do a calculation to figure out what that is. So gathering all the information to know the profitability by sale was, you know, difficult in Premier, to say the least. Exporting it to Excel did, you know, help add some things, but as I said, it was really taking her way too long. So the advanced reporting that's included with Enterprise has the ability to pull the additional data so she can calculate the margin by each sale and then run an if-then type calculation to calculate the appropriate amount of commission. And if the sale is more profitable, as I said, the salesperson will earn a larger percentage, and she's easily able to calculate that. In addition, she wants access to additional reports such as a report of the latest sale for marketing purposes and a listing which has the quantity by serial number or lot number rather than just a total. So I think go Enterprise on this one. You know, we don't have anything like advanced reporting in Pro and Premier, and the things you can do with advanced reporting is amazing. All right, so now let's talk about some other enhancements and benefits. I want to make sure that you're really familiar with what's out there so that you have all the info about Enterprise when you're discussing it with your clients. So I find that companies in mid-market are more likely to have a dedicated accountant. and therefore they have a really big need for the accountant-specific functionality. So if you're working in Pro and Premier, you have to be in the accountant edition of, which is really the Premier level, the accountant edition, to get the features, the accountant-specific features. But in Enterprise, it's always there for you. So it doesn't matter which version or which flavor of Enterprise, we have access to that. And some of the things that the this includes is adjusting journal entries, the QuickBooks Statement Writer, Fixed Asset Manager, opening a second company, which I use all the time. I want 2 companies open, especially if I'm have an old company and a new company or a new data file. I use that all the time. Reclassifying transactions. Could not believe when that came out. That was the best thing in the world. Still is. I can write off invoices, do a period copy, troubleshoot prior accounting balances, review lists, fix unapplied customer payments, blah, 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 blah. The list just goes on. These are things that you can get in Enterprise no matter what flavor that they have. And some of the form enhancements, include the ability to subtotal any column, which is great in a report, which we couldn't do before, or it can't do in Pro and Premier. Add total fields on the last page only of a report. Shading lines on forms, which is, it sounds so silly, and when it first came out, it's like, oh, this is ridiculous. But honestly, it is so much easier than pulling out a ruler. I love the shading on the forms. Sorting on any column on forms. That's been really helpful also. Some transaction enhancements include a preference to not sell overdue customers. So if a customer owes money and they haven't paid, we don't want our sales staff going out there and selling to them and adding to that bill. We can sort on the columns on the received payment screen. So if we want to sort it by, how much they owe on each invoice and such, that's helpful. The dropship customers on a sales order can be used for the purchase order, which is great. So if we have a sales order and it's going to be a dropship, when we create the purchase order from that, it's going to be on that purchase order. So we don't have to go in and manipulate the purchase order, so that saves us time. Also, there's advanced pricing, which is available with the Platinum level subscription, and we'll talk about that in a second. And with this feature, you can set conditions and date range for pricing changes. So if you have a one-time sale or you're raising prices or something like that, this advanced pricing is really nice. Also, reporting enhancements in Enterprise. So there's a lot here. I'm throwing all this stuff at you. Hopefully, you're getting some of it. Reporting enhancements in an Enterprise. That includes additional job costing report. It also has an ODBC readable driver, but one of the most popular reporting enhancements is the ability to combine reports from multiple QuickBooks files. So here are your different levels of subscription. The silver level includes the software, the full service plan, which we'll talk about in a minute, and advanced reporting. The gold is the same things, but it also has that Intuit enhanced payroll with unlimited employees. So again, for that client that that's using the enhanced payroll, but it's starting to cost them too much, then you'd want to go to this gold version. The Platinum version has all of the same, plus the advanced inventory and advanced pricing. Now, this is the subscription models that we have now that we've had since 2014. If you have a client that was not on the subscription, but they own the software from before 14, they get already the advanced reporting, inventory, and pricing. It's already included. And just QuickBooks is still a desktop software, even though it's sold on the subscription basis. It's still on your desktop. You still install it on your local computer or server, or you can have it hosted somewhere. Obviously, you pay the hosting company, but it's just the pricing model that's based on the annual subscription. So let's talk about the full service plan. We've had this full service plan since Enterprise came out. I know it's been with us for a really long time, but not since the beginning. It's also known as FSP. Sometimes you'll hear that instead of full service plan. It's part of the Enterprise subscription at all levels. So you get that no matter what level, or if you have if you've owned it since before 14 and you're keeping up with your service, you can pay for the full service plan also. It includes technical support that is US-based, and it's provided by Intuit, so it's not outsourced. It's, as I said, included with your, it's included with, let me try that again. with it is included a one-time data conversion. So if you have somebody that's going to enterprise from another software, Sage or something else, that Intuit's going to do a data conversion for them and not charge them. And this includes lists and beginning balances from, they're saying, a competitive software product. When there's a new version of the software, we automatically get that new version. So we get to keep up with the newest and greatest. It has an online backup service for up to 25 gigs of not only QuickBooks but other data. Data recovery service is available, and they will try to repair the data file should it become damaged. I have to say try because not always 100%. And it's also formerly known as Everything Enterprise, is their customer resource center, and that provides helpful tips and tools, training videos, customer success stories, things that you can use to talk to your clients about the product. There's also expert customer support that's just a click away, so the chat box and phone calls and lots of tools. There's really a lot to help the enterprise user, the new user, get up and productive as quickly as possible. There's also, if you have customers who are looking to accept payments through QuickBooks, you can get preferred rate, and there is current pricing is 0 monthly fee. So they're going to get the lowest discount rates that Intuit offers, and there's going to be no monthly fee. So that's something that your enterprise users can get. And then note that businesses that purchase enterprise before 14, again, with an active full service plan, also have that advanced reporting, advanced inventory, advanced pricing. So they do have all of those features. So what's your next step? Well, once you decide that you're going to work with enterprise, you're going to want to get certified. I mean, that's the best way to learn it, in my opinion. And once you're certified, then you have that on your business card, on your letterhead, on your website. It's an important tool to bring customers into you, in my opinion. So when you log into your QuickBooks Online Accountant portal, you can see on the screen, there's a Pro Advisor option on the left. And when you click on that, you're going to see the certification option. And so you want to click on that. And what you get is certification training. So when you click on that, you're going to have the ability to go in and do training like this webinar today. And it makes you more confident, and you've got more knowledge from it. And that's what we need, make you more comfortable in offering this to your clients. And if you like this recording, you're going to really like the deep dive recordings, supplemental guides, etc. Okay, we have our last polling question, and let me get that up here. So, question is, how many QuickBooks Pro and Premier clients do you currently have that may be a good candidate for QuickBooks Enterprise? So again, you're going to want to make sure you answer this in the polling box if you want to get those CPE credits. Need to get as many of you in there. If you don't answer it, you're not going to get the credit today. Let's see, so far we have 48% with 1 to 2 clients, so it's good to know that some of you out there do have some clients. We've got 35% have 0, but now they know that they're going to, add some on going forward. Only 6% with 6+ clients. We really got to change that, don't we? I'm hoping that after you guys heard everything today that you're going to do that. All right, we've only got 87%. Come on, we need to get a few more of you voting so that we can make sure you get your CPE credit. All right. I'm going to close it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We've got 89% voted, and I'm going to close it right now. There we go. So we ended up with 46% at 1 to 2 clients, 38% 0, 11% 3 to 5, and 5% 6. All right. Samantha, we doing okay there?
Yeah, no direct questions right now, but maybe if somebody has something that they want to ask, I can help field those.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, we've come to the end here, and we're a little bit early, so we have some, 12 minutes left to answer any questions. We want to make sure that, you guys are really comfortable with the product. Again, I use it in my office. I love it. It just offers so much, and it gives me the ability to know what's out there for my clients. So, even if I wasn't using it for about a bunch of my clients, which I do, I would still use it in my office because it's good for me, it's good for my staff to, see the additional functionality and what we can do in Enterprise. So, if they're talking to somebody that calls up one of my bookkeepers and says, I'd really love to be able to do this, but, I haven't been able to get it to work in Premier, my employees are going to have in their mind, oh, wait a minute, I know we can do that in Enterprise, and, they'll mention it to me so that I can talk to the client. So, just using it in your office to start with is a good place if you haven't used it at all. That way you can get confidence on it. So do we have any questions?
So there is one that I've been seeing crop up a lot that that I think everybody would want to know. There's the question of if you upgrade to Enterprise from Premier or Pro, can you downgrade? And I think that it's important for everybody to know that you can't downgrade from Enterprise to Pro and Premier once you've upgraded the file. So if you wanted to.
It's true. So what I've done in the past is you don't have to update the file and then lose the previous file. What you do is you make a copy of the file and keep the original on Premier, and then you put the file as a new name, or add a date or something on it, and make that your Enterprise file, and then have the customer keep using their Premier, but then play around with the Enterprise with their data. So it's like doing a sample company, but the sample company is their own data. And that way, the customer or you will feel better about, okay, well, this isn't, the line I have to do this or not. I can take my data, play with an Enterprise, for a week, for 2 weeks, add some information. And then if it seems to be working for me, then I'm going to feel more comfortable taking my Premier file and updating it to Enterprise. So, just a thought that if, it makes you really nervous the first time is, don't do it completely, just do it to play with, if that helps. Do we have anything else? So quiet out there.
I'm reading to see if there's something else that we can do. Is there free direct deposit with the enhanced payroll with Enterprise?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly why we update, because it's not free if you just have enhanced payroll by itself. But if you get up to that gold level of Enterprise, it's included and your direct deposit is free. So it ends up saving you quite a bit.
Right. Got a customer who wants to know how the barcoding works. Kind of a big part of the program, I guess.
Yeah, it's nice. The barcoding is, it's going to read your UPC codes or whatever, barcoding you have on your products. So you can use it for, doing a purchase order. You're walking through the warehouse and, I need to order this, this, and this. And, you can use the barcode to just scan each one. You can use it when you're receiving inventory in, say, this is what I've received in. You can certainly use it when you're doing an invoice. So you don't have to, if you're packing and invoicing at the same time, you can do it that way. I've had clients that just print out UPC codes on in a book. And when they're, going through and selling things, they're sitting at their desk and they're scrolling through the book and just scanning the barcodes on the book. You could use it for an invoice. So it's really helpful. Honestly, I don't have a ton of people using it, but the clients that do use it really like it. So it's something, I don't play with it too much myself, but I do know that people that's one of the things that they want to be able to do in their warehouse. They love it. Do you have any others? I'm trying to think if there's something else that I left out or I didn't cover for you guys, because it's just such a good software. I will tell you, though, getting certified is a great thing. Samantha, interrupt me if you have any questions, but getting certified has been great. I am on the Find a Pro Advisor website, and being certified, it comes up with something additional for people to look at when they are looking for help, and it helps you move up in the listing of Find a Pro Advisor. So get certified as many things as you can. And as you're getting certified, you sort of find things like, oh, this is really cool. I didn't know that this was there. So it helps you learn the product and, sort of become more enamored with it, because you just can't believe all the things that it does and how easy it is to use. So, I think that's a great place to start if you're not sure about using it, is definitely get certified. It's going to make you more familiar with it. Anything else, Samantha? We're here for you. Ask us your questions.
I'm looking right now to see if there are enterprise-specific questions that are coming up. Some of them are a little less specific.
Do you have any ProAdvisor questions?
Yep, there are some questions about how to get certified for desktop, what they need to do to be able to get certified for desktop. Looks like some of them were certified for QBO, and then but want to know how to expand from there. If you can speak to that.
Okay, yeah. So you definitely have the different levels of access. You need to have the premium ProAdvisor access, and you have to upgrade to that if you have the free. But it is, once you have that, then you have access to all the certifications. And it's been very, it's very good to go in, because it said you get the advanced certification, you get the enterprise certifications. You can even get, I believe you can still get full service, the full service product, or what is it, the service management product in there. So once you upgrade to premium, then you have access to all the, all of the certifications, and that's really the way to go. And I'll tell you, as I said, again, being premium, you get listed on that Find a ProAdvisor site. That is how I built my business, with that Find a ProAdvisor site, by the way. I still get calls from it, maybe 2-3 calls a week. Seriously, not all of them turn into clients, but we get a lot of calls because I've been listed as a ProAdvisor for so long. So definitely look into upgrading to that next level if you're on the free or the basic.
Got somebody who wants to know if you use QBO.
We do use QBO. I have been, almost every call we get these days, I'd say about 80% of them are for QBO help. And so I have got numerous clients on QBO. As I said, I'm advanced certified in it, so is someone else in my office. We get all kinds of little things, I got yesterday an email on a new feature in QBO, which I love, that they're constantly sending us all the new features. And, I had everybody in the office look at it. It's where a lot of the clients want to go. But you know what? It's different. It's not, you can get a lot in QBO, and, QBO is great because, what they do in QBO is perfect. They do everything great in QBO, and you can add all kinds of add-ons to QBO, all kinds of apps that make it big, but it's not going to be the same as Enterprise. It certainly is, going to be very different. And for those of us that are so used to the desktop version, going up to Enterprise is so much easier. It's so easier than switching to QBO and adding a bunch of apps, because we know how to use Pro and Premier. So, I like QBO, and I like the apps that we can add on to it, but I really love Enterprise for what it does, and for those clients that are so used to using Pro and Premier and want to stay within that same format. We've got, I think, 3 more minutes. Anything else? Anything else we can answer for you guys?
I'm digging through here. Let's see what else.
I'll tell you the other thing is, once you have the software, is you definitely want to make sure that you are updating to the newest version. So, we just have 2017 came out a couple months ago, and there's always new features. 2017 does some other things that they didn't have in 16, and so you always want to make sure you are on the latest version, especially if we're going to be selling and talking to our clients about using it. We want to make sure that they're not going to go out and get 2017 and it's like, well, I didn't know they had that feature. So you don't want them telling you. So you always want to make sure you're on the latest version of everything, every software, whether it's Pro, Premier, or Enterprise. Anything else, Samantha? Or should we close it?
It looks like we've got everything, all the relevant questions answered.
Okay, well, I really appreciate everybody coming. I hope that everybody has a wonderful holiday season and that you had a great Thanksgiving long weekend. And, I'm always available. You can find me on the Find Pro Advisor website if you guys have questions. I'm out here in Westlake, California, and just working in my office. So I'm always, here if somebody wants to talk about how they can use something like this to grow their practice and build. So thank you again for all attending. And thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.